This video is an affiliation with Collingwood Insurance, but more on them later. As you can see, it's dark, and that's because this is part 2 of driving at night. If you haven't seen part 1, top right hand corner of your screen, there should be a link to that video. That video is more about preparing yourself and preparing the car for driving at night. This is part 2, and this is all about the actual driving. One of the first things I want to show you is the dimming mirror. Most cars have this little tab here that you pull, and when you put it back, that'll make the lights behind you less bright so you don't get dazzled. Push it forwards and it'll go back to the daylight setting. Some cars have automatic mirrors, such as this one here in the Mazda, where it automatically dims when there is a car behind. You can switch it on and off with this button. I'm going to show you this mirror in action now, so you can see the lights behind, quite bright, but if I pull back this plastic tab, they go dim. Push it forwards and they go bright again. Make sure you don't only use your lights at night time, but also at dusk and dawn, and even when it's raining. If you're driving, you think you can see just fine, but it's getting a little bit dark or the sun is setting, make sure you put those lights on, because your lights aren't only to help you see, but they're also to help others see you. So now I'm on a dark country road. I'm going to turn my full beams on, and look, I can see much further. And you want to keep your hand near the indicator stalk so you can switch the full beams on and off very easily like that. I just turned them off because I saw the oncoming car, and you want to do that without taking your hand off the wheel. The moment you see a clue that there's an oncoming car, so their lights reflecting off the sides of the road or the trees either side of the road, you want to turn those full beams off. When this row of cars goes and finishes like it has done now, I can switch them back on and see further. And as soon as I see a clue of another car, I will switch them off again. I think I can see a reflection there. I think that's, nope, that is an oncoming car, so I turn them off again by pulling it back. If the car is far enough away that your lights don't reach them, you can leave them on for a bit. But if you feel like your headlights are reaching the oncoming cars, make sure you turn them off so you don't dazzle them. The car is going past me now, lights back on, I can see a lot further. It's a 60-mile-an-hour road. I'm allowed up to 60. However, I recommend driving a bit more slowly when it's dark, simply because there's a much higher chance of animals walking in front of you. And they do come out at the last second. But if you do see an animal in the distance, and you'll see their lights, not their lights, their eyes, they look like lights, they glow in the dark when your lights reflect off them. If you see an animal in the distance, slow down for it. Don't keep your speed up, because that animal may stay still when you are far away from it. But as soon as you get close to it, it may suddenly be startled from the noise of your engine and run in front of you. So just because they're at the side of the road, don't assume they're going to stay at the side of the road. If I see an animal in the road, I will slow down and be prepared to stop. Don't cause an accident to avoid an animal, but also be cautious and be aware of them. I'm in a 30 now, and I tend not to use the full beams in a 30 because all I'm going to be doing is disturbing the residents. I'm not going fast enough to need the extra length of the full beams, and plus most 30s are street lamp anyway, like this is here, so I've got good enough visibility without the full beams. You may have heard that you should not avoid an animal. But that's not true. That's just a misunderstanding. You should not cause a worse accident by avoiding an animal. So if there's a rabbit in the road, don't hit a tree. It's better to hit the rabbit. But if there's a cow or a horse and a horse rider, you really want to avoid them at all costs. Hitting either of those is going to be a very bad accident. But the best thing you can do is, if you see a clue that there's an animal up ahead, start slowing down early. Don't leave it to the last minute and slam on the brakes. I see many drivers see sheep at the side of the road, deer at the side of the road, and they stay at 60 miles an hour and go past them within a metre. That animal doesn't know how to cross a road safely. It could run out in front at any moment. So if you see any animals around, get that speed right down. Be ready for them to walk right out in front of you at the last moment, because that is what they'll probably do. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, and that is one of the dangers of driving at night, and something I don't like about driving at night. They do come out at the last minute with no warning and you hit them. But often you do get a warning. When driving at night, try not to look at the oncoming lights. Try and look at the bit of road you're aiming for and look past the lights. Looking directly at them will give you blind spots in your vision, as the lights dazzle you. If they're really bright, look to one side a little bit and use your peripheral vision to see the road. But ideally, you want to be looking at where you're trying to go, middle of your lane in front of you, and your peripheral vision will be aware of your surroundings. Your peripheral vision will be aware of pedestrians, cyclists, and anything coming from the sides. It's good to scan the road, it's good to look left and right, but like now there's an oncoming car, I'm looking past the oncoming car, the gap next to it, because that is where I want to go, and that's going to help me go past them safely. Try and keep a bigger distance than normal. You want to keep a minimum of 2 seconds gap in the dry and a 4-second gap in the wet. But at night, keep even bigger distance. Keep that as a minimum, but add a bit more to it, because the car in front may brake suddenly and you won't know why, because visibility is poor. They may have, I don't know, a deer run in front of them and they may slam on the brakes. And if you're keeping this little bit of extra distance like I am now, that's going to give me a chance to stop before I hit them. And if there's a car behind me, it means hopefully I'm not going to have to brake as hard to try to avoid them, which means there's less chance of the car behind me going into me as well. So increasing your stopping distance between you and the car in front can help increase your safety and reduce your chances of having problems with animals. Something you can do to help yourself see further is use the white line at the side of the road. If you've got a good quality white line, you'll be able to see that further into the distance than you can the road itself, because it does reflect and glow. Cat's eyes are brilliant. They really help you see your lane. They're these little lights in the middle of the road. They're white in the middle, they're red on the left. If there is a line that you can cross, it will generally be green. And if you're on a dual carriageway or a motorway, the orange lights will signify the central reservation. So you only ever want to cross the white lights and the green lights when you want to. Sometimes it may look like a car is flashing its lights at you, but it's not. It's just going over a speed bump. As you can see here, their lights got brighter when they went over that speed bump. And it's going to happen again now when they go over the next one. And it can look like they're flashing, and if you've got a car following behind you and you're on a bumpy road and you think, why is that car flashing me? It's just because your lights are dipped towards the ground, but when you go over a bump they can be raised momentarily, which makes them brighter. They're probably not flashing you. One of the advantages of driving at night is that when you can't see, like now for example, I can't see in there, you will likely see someone's lights if they were coming. You'll see them reflecting off the sides of the car and on the road. So it gives you a good clue of who's coming when you've got to go into a blind bit of road. Like here, for example, I'm going left and it's very blind, but I would see lights reflecting off these cars on the right if someone was coming from the left. Now, I'm not going to assume no one's coming just because I don't see lights. I'm still going to be cautious, but it is a good sign when you see the lights, because then you know someone is coming and therefore you can wait for them. Here's an example. You can see the lights reflecting off those cars, and because I can see the lights on the side of the cars, I know the car is coming long before the car actually comes. And now I can see no lights coming. Although it's not a definite no one's coming, it's a good clue. It can also be much harder to see the signals of the cars. For example, the oncoming cars are all signalling, but the glare of the lights can make it harder to see them. On that occasion, I think it's quite easy to see these cars indicating. But if you're in a darker place without street lamps, the glare from the lights is normally worse as they appear brighter, and it can hide the signal. So you want to be very careful at trying to see if someone is signalling or not. It's very important to always be able to stop within the distance you can see to be clear. The further you can see, the faster you can go. I've got full beams on at the moment. It's quite a narrow road, but I can see really far, so I have the confidence to do about 40 miles an hour here. But now I can't see as far, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to turn my full beams off as well, because that will help me know if a car's coming the other way. I'll put them back on now so I can see there wasn't any lights from someone else, so I knew there wasn't anyone coming the other way there. That's another tip that can help you judge what's coming the other way at night time. But yeah, only drive within the distance you can see to be clear. There's no one behind me at the moment. I can see as far as that post on the left. I can easily stop before that post. I could probably actually see slightly further than that. So there you go. That means I'm driving at a sensible speed. It doesn't matter why you can't see. It could be a bend. It could be the sun in your eyes. Not that that's going to happen at night time, but that can happen during the day. Or it could be the glare from all those lights you get on tractors. Whatever the reason is, if you can't see, slow down, and sometimes you may have to stop. So be prepared to stop. I'm also going to turn my full beams off now at this junction. It's quite important to dip your full beams at junctions. It helps you see other people's lights to know if they're coming. But also, when you pull out into the road, it means you're less likely to blind anyone else in this road that you couldn't see. Actually in a 30 here, so I'll turn those full beams off. I just turned them on, but realise a 30, don't really need them. There's lots of houses here. There's no street lamps, but it just means my full beams are going to be shining into people's living rooms and disturbing their evening supper. If you're driving at night time, you're likely to be tired. At the moment, it's only 5 minutes before 7 p.m. in the evening, so it's the evening time here, not night. It's just winter in the UK, so it's always dark. But if you are feeling tired, don't assume you can make the journey, especially on a long, monotonous motorway journey. Many people do fall asleep. It's quite dangerous. So if you can find a car park, it's a good idea to get some sleep and then continue the journey after you have refreshed yourself. Having the air conditioning on or window open and having some coffee can also help. It's recommended that you have a break every 2 hours on really long journeys. That break every 2 hours is going to help you stay refreshed and alert. Well, I hope this video helps. If you think it does, please give it a thumbs up and check out Collingwood and Confused in the description. If you're learning to drive and you want to insure yourself on a friend or family member's car, Collingwood may just be the insurer for you, because they can insure you on that person's car without affecting their policy or risking their no claims bonus. There's long-term policies available and short-term policies available. And if you cancel a long-term policy early, say you pass your driving test, you can get a pro rata refund for the remaining term that you haven't used. So if the long-term policy works out cheaper, it may be worth going with the long-term. At the moment, via the link, there's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card. And using that link does support this channel. If you are looking to insure your own car and you want many quotes from many insurers, I recommend using the link to confused.com. Confused allows you to do one quote or one quote form and get many quotes back from many insurers, and you can change that quote form. You can change the car many times, as many times you like. You can change the mileage, you can change the excess, and that way you can fill out one form and find out what's the cheapest option for you, particularly when it comes to choosing your car. Using the link in the description does support this channel, so thank you very much. If you want my future videos, please subscribe, and until the next one, cheerio.